Welcome to mathantics and how to get it to work for you. The reason for the video is just to let you know that when you go into mathantics and you sign in, you'll see a whole bunch of information in a 7 or 8 minute video, and if you don't know it already, by the time you're finished watching, you're about 15 seconds away from forgetting everything. So it's very important with mathantics to make sure that you do the extra work to figure things out. If you do that, your brain is processing the techniques, it's looking at things, it's examining things, and that information is getting deeper and much more solid inside your brain. That means the information's there when you need it, and pretty well everything you do in mathantics comes up again and again and again, so it's worth making sure you really understand things at each step of the way. Now, the first thing you do after you log in is you're going to see a page that looks similar to this. The left side is the categories, the right side are the actual individual videos. If you look at the instructions from your facilitator, they'll tell you which videos you need to do at which time. So click on whichever video you need to watch and you're ready to get started. Watch the video. Once you click to watch the video, you'll notice that it's a normal video. That means if you're watching and you get confused, you can stop the video, rewind it for 2 minutes, watch that part again. You might even want to try things like when the host does an example, watch him do the example, then pause the video, scroll back a little bit to the start of the question and try and do it yourself. That way you can check as you go if you are getting all the information. Another way to do it is watch the whole video once and then watch it again and stop whenever an example appears and see if you know the answer, or you can work out the answer before the host explains it all. If it looks pretty straightforward to you and you think you're understanding, you're ready to move on. Now, how to move on depends. Down at the bottom of the blue part in this slide, you'll have exercises, exercise answers, exercise videos, worksheets, and worksheet answers. The best way to check your knowledge is to start with the exercises. Do the exercises first. The exercises sheet is a PDF sheet similar to this one. There are usually between 8 and 12 questions on them, and they cover the main points that were covered in the video. So it's a good idea to do these questions because it'll give you an idea if you thought you understood something but you actually don't. They usually will take about 10 minutes to do the sheet, maybe less even. If you looked at this one and you saw the answer to the first question is 1/5, the answer to the second question is 3/4, the answer to the next question is 4/24. No, it's not, it's 1/6. But if you look at them and you're doing them really quickly, great. If it takes a little more time, work through them, try hard, try to get them all done. You're going to be able to check your answers in a second. When you've done the exercises, just go back and you'll see this page. You can click back on your browser usually, and you have a choice of what to do. Click on exercise answers. In the exercise answers, you'll be given the proper answer, which is circled, and usually there'll be some of the work in between that you would do to get the right answer. As you go through these, if you get something wrong, try and figure out exactly what you did wrong to make sure you don't make the same mistake again. If you just mark it with an X and move on, chances are you're not actually going to catch the same kind of mistake next time. It's a good idea to go and work it out again yourself to make sure you're getting the right answers. It's at this point that your commitment and dedication really comes into play. If you get all the questions right, you're probably in really good shape and you don't need to worry. But if you want more practice, there's the worksheets. If you get a couple wrong, then make sure you try to figure out why you got them wrong. If you can't figure out why you got them wrong, there's a very helpful thing if you go back to the screen with all your choices and you'll see exercises video. If you click that, the host will explain step by step the answers to each of the questions, and that might be a really good way to make sure that you are getting all the information you need. If you're still confused, you can watch the original video again. That's a very good way to try and get the information. When you get to the part that was confusing you, you can watch it a couple of times by stopping the video and going back and forward again. It's a really good way to help you figure out problems. If the exercises went well for you, or if you've gone back and looked at them again and figured things out, it's time to move on to the worksheets. The worksheets are the main practice activities. Your facilitator might ask you to do questions in a book or on a handout instead, but if not, the worksheets are a really good way to practice everything. Again, the big thing you're doing with mathantics is you're mastering a technique of how to do a certain type of question. As you get further on in this course and in other courses, what you'll find is the little thing that you've done now is suddenly 1/4 or a third of the whole question that you need to answer. So it's important to be able to do each step well. The worksheets are good practice. If you don't get enough practice, there's a very good chance you will forget. Almost nobody can remember math stuff unless they practice and do 10, 15, 20 questions on something. That repetition gets the information burned into your brain so that it's there the next time that you need it. So once you're done with the exercises, click on worksheets. The worksheets are different lengths. Some of them are 2 pages long, some of them are 5 pages long, and they have a lot of different questions where you can practice the skill you just learned. If you did the exercises and you got them all right, you're probably okay going quickly and just do the odd number questions down the left side of the page. The exercises show you've got a pretty good understanding and you don't make mistakes with this kind of thing. So if you go down the left side of the page, it will probably give you enough practice. If you got a couple of the questions on the exercise sheet wrong, or if you're not really confident that you can do this kind of thing quickly, you can do more questions. There's plenty there to practice from. You'll notice at the top of this sheet, question number 1, the person who made mathantics has actually given you an example of what they expect. That's pretty standard on all the worksheets. There's usually an example just to make sure you're doing things correctly. When you're done the worksheets, just go back and click on worksheet answer. When you're marking the worksheets after you're finished, again, look for how well you're doing. If you get everything wrong or 1 or 2 wrong, look at the ones you got wrong and figure out where you made the mistake. It'll help you later on. If you get a whole bunch wrong and you can't figure out what's going on, try going back to the video either the exercise video or even the main video, and look for information that you missed the first time around. So you've finished everything, you've done the worksheets, you marked the worksheets, you've sort of gone through, tried to figure out why you made any mistakes. You've looked back at the main video or the exercise video to figure out what was causing you to get wrong answers. If you still can't figure it out, it's definitely a good time now to contact your facilitator. If you're doing it for homework in the evening, or if they're busy with another group during the class, it can mean waiting. So if you can go on to the next thing or switch, do homework in another subject for a while, that definitely helps. But the part of the process where you try to figure out the answers by yourself is the part of the process where the information really gets into your brain in a way that you'll be able to use it in the future. Having said that, if you find you're spending a lot longer on the homework and you've gone back and watched the video again and you still can't figure out what's going on, you don't want to waste too much time on this. So try to balance out when you contact your facilitator. Don't contact your facilitator before you try to figure it out, but don't spend an hour and a half trying to figure out one little part of the process. If you do this and you follow this, by the time the test comes along, you'll be in good shape. And by the time you move on to the next section and something from this section comes up again, you'll have a much better ability to remember it than you would otherwise. So, good luck.